Ready? Let me know when we are live. We are live. Today is Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. It is now 6:01 p.m., and this is a special City Commission meeting of the City of West Miami and a preliminary budget submittal for 2024-2025 fiscal year. This meeting is now called to order. Please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
May we gather here today with open hearts and open minds, seeking wisdom, understanding, and guidance. Let us be mindful of our interconnectedness and the responsibilities that come with it. Grant us the strength to face challenges, the compassion to support one another, and the clarity to make wise decisions. May this time be filled with harmony, understanding, and peace. Amen.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next item.
Item 3, roll call. Mayor Eric Diaz-Padrón.
Here.
Vice Mayor Natalie Emiliano Orbis.
Here.
Commissioner Juan Blanes.
Present.
Commissioner Ivan Chavez Jr.
Here.
Commissioner Luciano Suarez.
Yes.
Mayor, you have quorum.
Thank you. Next item.
Item 4, presentation of minutes for approval for July 15, 2024 Charter Review Board meeting and July 17, 2024 regular commission meeting.
Motion. Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Thank
Any
you.
against? Next item.
Item 5, public comments. For public comments, Mr. Mayor, I have two citizens, Yolanda Aguilar.
Name and address for the record, please.
Yes, sir. My name is Yolanda Aguilar. I live at 6404 Southwest 12th Street, West Miami. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of the City Commission. I'm here to go on record to restate my concerns as it pertains to the construction of the rec center, the Phase 1, the building, and the funds that were pledged to the project. The city has encumbered or spent about $1.1 million from your 4.2 allocation from American Rescue dollars, leaving the city with $3.1 million plus an allocation from the state of Florida, and I congratulate you on that, in the amount of $850,000 for a total of $4,015,000. Over a month ago, I requested a public record, which I have not received, for the resolution and award letter from the U.S. Soccer Foundation awarding the city a $2 million grant. The city manager pledged those proceeds from the grant to the project. However, if there's no award and you factor in the expenses, it is confirmation that the city does not have the funding to complete the project without dipping into reserves. This, of course, barring any change orders that may come up. And guess what? I just came here tonight and I found that there is a change order on your agenda for the project. And let's not forget that this commission approved a recent request by the Office of the Manager for an amount of $1.5 million, and that loan has to be repaid. These figures do not include the senseless demolition of the first project that broke ground using rec center impact fees in the amount of $1 million without the need of having to dip into reserves. It seems to me that the manager will have to reopen the so-called lockbox, wiping any reserves that are left by the end of the project, and I really hope I'm wrong on this issue. I requested a meeting with Commissioner Chavez Jr. When I saw you on July 15th here in Chambers, and I requested a meeting with the Vice Mayor when I saw you at the event at Unividad. Both of you are elected to serve your constituents. I wanted to compare notes with you all with a sincere hope of establishing an open-door communication with the city. My request to meet with these two elected officials has gone radio silent, leaving me again with no alternative but to address you publicly tonight. In closing, I do want to acknowledge some of the positive things that are going on in the city, and I, as a resident, I think have a duty to say thank you for those. The FERDAP park equipment going up at Cooper Park for the exercise equipment, which is fully funded by a FERDAP grant, and the partially funded mini soccer project. I think those are two great projects, and I commend you for those. Before I leave the podium tonight, I will leave you with something to ponder about and over. Balance in life is the key to everything. Please govern yourself for the greater good of all your residents by exercising good judgment. And again, I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
Luz Freire.
Name and address for the record, please.
Luz Freire, I live at 6367 Southwest 10th Street, West Miami, for the last almost 25 years. I wanted to comment.
I apologize. What can we fix what's going on there?
That's what I'm trying to.
You can hold your comments 1 second. I just don't want that beeping to go on during your.
Okay.
We said I did already. Okay.
All right. Go ahead.
My concern is I oppose both charters. The first resolution of proposing to change the city charter of mayor, the terms from 2 years to 4 years. That's number one. Number two, the mirroring of the Coral Gables election process by electing commissioners by groups. Seriously? When did Coral Gables is a large community. You're comparing apple to oranges. For example, Coral Gables on 2022, the population was 49,240. So far for this year, it's approximately 47,889. They have a 12.9 square miles, and in addition, the average annual holding income is $190,744. The median income sits at 118 per year. West Miami, in turn, 2022, the population is 6,992. So far for this year, we're approximately 7.140. We have 0.7 square miles. The average annual income here is 77,014, while the median income is 6,930. There's two comparable municipalities that are equivalent to our community. One is Surfside. On 2022, their population is 5,487. So far this year is 5,689. They have a 0.56 square miles. The average household income is 73,160. The median household is 67,544. The second comparable is North Bay Village. On 2022, the population is 8,159. So far for this year, it's approximately 7,866. Their square mileage is 0.37. The average annual household income is 87,164, while their median household is 73,160. In closing, with reference to the charters, I'm quoting our veteran, Commissioner Suarez, from the last Charter Review Board meeting on July 15. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Also, one of the reasons why I moved into West Miami, it's because it's a small, quaint community, and that's how I would like to keep it in the long run. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other speakers?
Michael Smart.
Mr. Smart? Any other routine? Name and address for the record.
Yes, Michael Smart, 901 Southwest 63rd Avenue. Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. Manager, I'm not here to ask for anything or say anything. I'm simply here to say thank you. What this city has done recently has been fantastic. And Mr. Silva, you once said to me, if I say I'm going to do it, I do it, and I appreciate what you have done. Everything from the entrance signs that come into this city, which is much better now. Your building here has been very nicely done, not only outside but inside. In your state address, you mentioned that there were going to be speed bumps. That's already been implemented. Also, the 25-mile-per-hour signs have been implemented. I know you have people up in Tallahassee and you're trying to get grants only to better this neighborhood. And whether that's infrastructure or whether it's beautification, for instance, trees, you're putting in 200-plus trees. These are all blessings for us as residents who care enough for the beautification. And I really have to say thank you, not only individually, but as a board, as a team. You guys work together. The police, I can't say enough about them. They're fantastic. But I think as a group, this city is really pulled together to a point where, at one point, I was thinking of going. And now I'm saying to myself, yeah, maybe I should do some investment. So this is really very, very good. And I appreciate what each of you and conglomerately that you have done. That's really what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you, and we still got to fix your problems. Madam Clerk, next.
No more speakers, Mr. Mayor.
All right, before moving on, I just want to address two just quick comments. One is, sorry. Would you like to speak?
I'm going to bring him up during the managers. He wants to thank us for Somerset.
Understood. One has to
Mayor?
do, yes. Go ahead. Name and address to the record, please.
Hello, my name is Meiling Lima. I live on 6440 Southwest 16 Terrace, and I'm here today because I wanted to let you guys know thank you for everything you guys are doing. I'm very happy with how things are coming along in this small city. My family's been established here since about the 60s and the 70s. So I've been here to visit my grandparents, family gatherings, and I see how this city has changed immensely in the most recent times. Before, it stayed stagnant from what I've seen before, but the steps that you guys are taking, and I'm hoping to see as a resident here with my father, that it continues growing. I know change is difficult, but it is a necessity, and to make this community just so much better, you want people to want to be here. I think a lot of families want to be here with their children, and I think a lot of these families want to continue establishing a wonderful generation to come. So I would like to thank you all. I think it's fantastic, and I think you guys should continue progressing. Thank you.
Appreciate you. Before I keep talking, is there anyone else for public comment?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. I just want to address two concerns that I heard during public comment that I think will be addressed in this meeting. One has to do with the rec center, which we're obviously going through the budget today, so that will be addressed. And then the other one had to do with the election piece. I'm not sure what demographics and financial demographics have to do with an election system, but maybe we have educators, civic educators from our schools, and maybe they can break it down to elementary level of what we're trying to do and how simple it is. So maybe we'll look towards you to break it down for us. Anyways, let's move forward. Next item.
Item 6, report of the city manager.
Manager, commission, residents, if I could take a point of discretion, I'd like to have Rolando to come upstairs. I always butcher names. Rolando to come upstairs. He wanted to talk to us about Somerset School. And then if I could also ask if we could do the proclamations now so that they can move on afterwards, if you
we're
don't
going to be
mind.
taking those out of order. Yeah.
And then my budget workshop presentation, which is not the final budget, but it's a workshop to work with you. We'll go over it later, and then we'll release it to the general public.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Manager, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. I'm here today wearing two hats. One, I'm happy to be accompanying the folks from Somerset Academy, one of your two great schools in this amazing city. And so happy to be here with them, and I appreciate the manager's offer to recognize this amazing school. I'm also, well, maybe three hats. The other hat is that I was the architect on the project of the renovation of that church and that facility that is still ongoing, and great thanks to the manager and the staff at large, current administration, prior, et cetera, for the wisdom of seeing what that facility can be and what that school is and can be for not only your citizens, but really the community at large. So very happy to be involved with the project at that level. And then I guess the next hat that I wear is really as a resident. I grew up in West Miami. In my teen years, I rode my bike throughout all your streets. I got married, went away to graduate school. My parents lived here for 47 years on 10th Terrace. My dad loved West Miami. He would always talk to me about what a great place this was to grow up and to live and to raise a child. And so I never forgot that, and it was very important to him, this community. And he was here for 47 years, since we moved here in 1973. Passed away in 2020, and I got the opportunity to come back home. And so I am living here now. I'm a resident once again. I'm back home. And I just wanted to say and give you my thanks, as other speakers have done, about the amazing work that you are doing in moving this community forward, in not only respecting the legacy of those who have gotten this community here from all its years, but really the hard work that you have to do as leaders, as managers of any city, whatever its size, how difficult that is. When I go to work every morning, I see folks pushing a baby carriage to go to Cooper Park. I see people walking their dogs. I see senior citizens being dropped off at the community center on a city, by city bus. That's the city and that's the community that we want to live in. One that understands and appreciates and respects the the nature of the variety of this community. That's difficult work when you have young families and seniors living together in a place. Your work is difficult, and I wanted to say thank you, not only as someone doing work here, someone living here, but someone who also grew up here and has decided to make West Miami once again my permanent home. So thank you for all the work that you do. And and then to the police, not the least that should be left out, is great appreciation on behalf of this community and those of us that live here for the work that you do and for keeping us safe. Some tremendous important what you do. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And I visited the renovations, and they came out beautiful. So great job.
Thank you.
Really impressive.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Sir, you came back to the city.
Yes.
Now you're a resident again.
Yes.
And you like the seniors who walking the dogs?
Seniors and non-seniors, yes, absolutely.
And you like the senior center that we have? Right?
Yeah.
So I tell you.
I'm going to be a customer soon.
I just was going to tell you, you are invited.
Absolutely.
20 years from now, 30 years from now, you're
30,
invited
40,
to come
yeah,
back.
exactly, yeah.
Now, are you related to Somerset School too?
Well, the architect on their project, so,
Because their inauguration for today, right?
yeah, they have a
You inaugurated
commendation
the
on
school,
their
the new
performance.
school, the larger school, the bigger school. I saw the traffic there. I saw beautiful building. You did a good job there.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
you
what
was
they
the
do
architect?
inside is more important than what it looks like on the outside.
You was the architect of the.
Yes,
Oh,
of the renovation and the project, yes.
I was driving and watching how it was growing and how it was, and I liked the way it was going. So congratulations.
Yeah, the intent
I
there was to preserve the scale of that site so that it's still blended with the neighborhood, but it still allowed them to teach the children that they teach. And in fact, this went before you some months ago, and the project is now basically completed. There's still some work to do, but they're doing their job and they're doing amazing work. And I think it's an A school. It's a incredibly high-performing school, and you're very lucky to have Somerset in your community. And believe me when I tell you that when we go to other places to get projects like this approved and bring schools to these neighborhoods, the reception isn't quite as warm sometimes. But I think that you have the vision, you see why it's so important, and you have 2 great schools in this neighborhood. And so when you see these families walking their kids to school, you know, you should take, you know, a great pride in the fact that you are supporting these projects, these institutions.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Thank you. It's nice to see you come back.
Thank you. Yeah.
It's a good comeback neighbor.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know
Thank
where
you.
all the.
And congratulations for the inauguration today. It was nice. I saw that.
Thank you. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
A speaker's card was just turned in to us from my resident, Charlie McDermott, for the citizen presentation section. At your discretion, you let us know.
Yeah, I know we had a parking issue outside today for an event. Yeah, let's, whoever wishes to speak, we'll add more time to do it now.
Charlie McDermott?
Or are you?
Good evening, folks. I'm Charlie McDermott. Been a resident here for 52 years. Worked here 10 years. Loved every minute of it. I'm sorry we lost a commissioner last year. She was near and dear to my heart, but I'm glad to see everybody here. I'm domiciled here, but I'm out of town all the time. When I come back in, I'm noticing all kinds of changes. So I just want to tell you, all are doing a damn good job. I love the little traffic hoops out there. I hope they slow people down. The street signs, everything else, the speed limits going down. Police presence is wonderful. Since we got Pete and David here in position with the police department, I think that they're going to do a good job with all the young people we got coming in. So I just wanted to tell you, looks good. If y'all ever need anything from me, don't hesitate to call. I'll bark at you when something goes wrong. But anyway, thank you all for doing a damn good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wayne.
Is there anyone else that came in late for a comment? Seeing none? Okay, let's take an item. Well, Mr. Manager, you have to finish your report, or is that it?
I'm going to withhold my comments until I do the budget workshop with you all.
All right.
Everything else is going to come in the September meeting.
Let's take item B and C out of order. B, C, and D out of order.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, item 11B.
And in the future, I'm sorry, let me just, in the future, when we have presentations, just put them on, let's just make a presentations tab at the beginning, because we always pull them out of order. So let's just formalize that going forward.
Okay, item 11B, presentation of proclamation recognizing Sylvania Heights Elementary School for achieving an A rating from the Florida Department of Education. This item is sponsored by Commissioner Chavez Jr.
So I sponsored the item, but I think I speak for everyone here on the commission when we say how proud we are of the work that you all are doing. And at Somerset, I'm going to take them both together, if that's fine, because it's going to kind of overlay. Is that cool with you? So Miami-Dade County Public School District, over the last 5 years, I want to say, has been an A-rated school district. We're very lucky to have 2 of those schools here in our city. We have a small city, but to have 2 schools where our residents can send their children and receive top quality education it can't be overstated. Some of the things that go into achieving this rating, I'm going to touch on a couple of them. It goes anywhere from standardized test scoring in reading, writing, and science, among other things, average class sizes and teacher-to-student ratios, facilities such as sports, music, and other extracurricular activities. Needless to say, there's a lot that goes into it. The educators and the staff at the schools put in a tremendous amount of work to make sure that our students can succeed. So we want to give you all a round of applause right now, really quickly. We also, I don't see any students here, but the educators set the students up for success, but ultimately they're the ones that put the work in. So we want to thank them, and we hope that they can continue on with their successes, and we hope to see you guys back here with another A rating. I wanted to also point out in the back, and I'm going to get in trouble because her husband's here, and I know her as Miss Sela, but she's Miss Rivero now. And she was actually my first grade teacher, I believe, kindergarten. And Miss Losada is here, and first grade, second grade. And then Charlie Mack, Miss McDermott was also an educator back in the day as well. So I say that simply just to express and point out that there are people that come here in both schools that when they get here, they don't leave. They see the fabric of what we're building in the community, they become a part of it, and they buy into it. So over 30 years of experience here teaching, Somerset has the same with their educators that are going to stick around for a long time. And we just want to thank you all very much. I did a career day at Somerset last year, met up all the kids, and they're having a great time there. You guys are doing a fantastic job. So thank you both, and I'll yield the floor.
Well, yeah, I'd like to say again, I hope we made this an annual tradition of bringing you guys back, again, and maybe we celebrate more and more every year. But I think that we're at a great place with the relationships with the schools. I don't think we've ever been as tight with both schools, frankly. Somerset, I toured the other day, the renovations again, it's coming out beautiful. The kids are in a learning environment, incredible learning environment there, the younger kids especially. It's amazing. And Sylvania, we're working on a whole bunch of stuff, and I know we have, I don't want to miss out, I know we have Janowitz here also where is he? He's going to get a recognition for his service to the Charter Review Board, but him and his wife are very active members in the Sylvania community as well. I know there was, I'm going to pause for them because the Autism Garden, things like that, and supported by Principal Reyes and an incredible team there that really let everyone run with their good ideas for the school, and that's incredible leadership. So with that, I'll stop talking and leave it to the board. If not, let's start the presentations. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, congratulations to the two schools that are here with us tonight. As a mother of two young kids, I'm thrilled to join my colleagues in celebrating these achievements. I know that you can't put a price on a good education. So congratulations to both of you, and I love all the work that both the schools are doing. Sylvania, I always see you are all, always busy and always creating new initiatives and ideas for the children to partake in, and that's wonderful. If you follow our social media, you know that we are, our hashtag is West Miami Proud, and we're definitely West Miami proud of both the schools. So thank you for all the work you do, and congratulations.
Ready to go? Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's start. Which one? Who's first? Who's on
Sylvania, and then Somerset.
Okay, go ahead.
Proclamation, whereas every child should have access to the highest quality of education possible. A high quality education is critically important to the economic vitality of the community. And whereas the city of West Miami recognizes the significant role that highly effective schools play in preparing students to be successful adults. And whereas the city of West Miami is home to outstanding schools, including Sylvania Heights Elementary School, and of course Somerset, these are reading the same thing. So whereas Sylvania Heights Elementary School and Somerset offer exceptional programs and opportunities for students with a vision of inspiring success and a lifetime of learning. And whereas Sylvania Heights Elementary School, as well as Somerset, administration, teachers, and staff are passionate and resolute professionals committed to student success. And whereas both schools achieved an A rating for the Florida Department, or from the Florida Department of Education recently released 2023-2024 school performance grades. And whereas the city of West Miami encourages all members of the community to celebrate and recognize the outstanding work of the students, teachers, parents, administrators, and staff of both schools. Now, therefore,
For be resolved, I, Mayor Jones, Vice Mayor Natalie Orvis, Commissioners Juan and Clement, Kevin Jones Jr., and Luciano Suarez, do hereby congratulate Sylvania Heights Elementary and Somerset West Gables for its outstanding academic excellence. We recognize first Sylvania Heights Elementary as an A school.
I'm going to read it all again. So I'm going to bring Somerset up to recognize them as
Alrighty, we have another presentation. Why don't you read it out, Madam Clerk?
Yes, item D, presentation of certificates of recognition to the 2024 Charter Review Board members for their contributions and service to the board.
So I know we have some of the members here. We really want to recognize them for their contributions to the board. It is not the sexiest thing to do to come out on, evenings in the middle of the week and take out time of your day to talk about the city charter. It's not a fun document. So we really appreciate you guys dedicating your knowledge and your time to our city and to cleaning up some of our code, which is so important, some of our charter, which is so important. So with that, I think we can bring up the members of the Charter Review Board that served for this charter review and provide them the recognition. So please, at this time. Alrighty. Let's get that show back on the road. I'm going to take over for the clerk here. The city report of the city attorney.
The only interesting matter is that I will make it a point to speak to each of the boards about the public records and public meetings law. I did speak with the Code Enforcement Board the public meetings and public records laws are the strictest in the country, very much opposed by some people and very much favored by other people. But the best thing when it comes to complying with that law, those laws, is to get rid of any common sense notion of what a meeting is and get rid of any common sense notion of what a record is. And so it's good to review that every now and then. At least we have the city on record that it did its best to keep everybody from inadvertently, because I don't think anybody would intend to violate it. But it's very easy to inadvertently violate without intent. Thank you.
Thank you. Report of the engineer. I saw a glance of this report. It's exciting.
All right.
I'm going to grill you on another part, though, that you didn't include there, so get ready.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. I have a little presentation for you all tonight. Hopefully that comes up on the screen here.
There it is.
All right, there we go. Super exciting. All right, just wanted to kind of brief you guys on ongoing projects, what we got in the pipeline. I don't have a clicker. Click.
Can we click a size?
Oh, do I? Oh.
You do have a clicker. You're lying. All right, let's go. Does the clicker work?
Clickless. There we go.
There you go. Okay.
All right, so I wanted to go over quickly a few of the operational improvements that I've helped over the course of the last year, just helping some of the departments improve some of our services. One thing we've done with Public Works is institute mandatory pre-construction meetings on all our Public Works permits. We've had a flurry of activity over the last year with FPL and AT&T and Comcast and others doing work in the right-of-way.
Is that what?
All right.
Go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, you're good.
And and oftentimes we find ourselves having conflict with their work out there and residents not knowing what's going on. So we're having mandatory meetings with everyone that comes in and pulls a Public Works permit for work within the right-of-way. So it allows us to coordinate with our ongoing projects, but also the department can notify the public of potential detours or work going on in their area. Often I'm out in the field all the time, and residents are always coming up, what's going on in such and such street? So this kind of gives us a little heads up on that, and I think it's a really good improvement that we've done. One other minor thing, site visibility enforcement. That's something our code is kind of antiquated, the way that we do site visibility. So particularly on our perimeter roads with DOT, we're enforcing DOT standards, so which are a little more transparent and a little easier for the applicants to present and adhere to. So it's been an improvement in the way that we review that stuff. I've also been helping the Planning and Zoning Department kind of compile what we have in the code into very understandable forms. Mercy and I have been working on putting together a form for the public when they come in for zoning reviews, so that it's clear on site coverage, FAR, and different issues that are kind of scattered throughout the code. We prepared a form that's already in use, and it's been extremely helpful for Mercy in reviewing zoning reviews when they come in. So really, it's been a big help in recent. Oh, wrong way. So getting into the projects, the big project we got going on is phase 2 of the water improvements. I'm sure you all have seen some of the work here along 62nd Avenue. We had a little bit of challenges with the contractor setting up MOTs and detours along 62nd, but that work has been completed. There will be some major pipe work along 62nd further along in the project, but that's probably another 6 months out or so by the time they get to that point. They've been working primarily on the rear easements, and we're going to start road work here within the next couple months here on 12th Street. That'll be the biggest part of the project and the most intrusive. So, we're working with the contractor to get ahead of it and make sure that we have enough time to notify the public of upcoming works and detours and anything that we need to notify them ahead of time. We also have an upcoming drainage project. With the current budget, we have a couple drainage issues here that we're trying to address between 63rd and 64th Avenue. On 11th and 12th Street, we have some old kind of pending spot issues that we need to address, and those will be done here in the fall. We already have a contractor ready to go, so they'll be starting work on that soon. This is the expansion of the what's currently the pump station site, which will serve as a dog park. So we're expanding the open space by doing this chicane. This is ready to go. The only thing we're waiting on here is getting the pipes that we still have on site there. That work's almost complete, so those pipes are almost gone. So as soon as all that park's cleared, we'll get started on this and have a nice little dog park here. So. Also upcoming are the next phases of water. Phase 3 is ready for bid, so I'm working with staff to get ready to put that out. So that'll be upcoming probably late this year, early next year. And then Phase 4, we're finishing up design on this and hopefully to go out to bid in the fall as well. These are all portions of the DEP funded work, the state funds. Projects in planning, we have several projects in planning with our traffic engineers. This is one here which we've talked about before, which is the one-way conversion of actually one lane removal, I'm sorry, of 57th Court, which will allow us to expand the park in this corner. I've worked with the manager on this, trying to maximize the space there. It's kind of a tricky area because we have a lot of back of house things back there, tower and a lot. One of our yards is back there, so it's been come up with a nice concept that works and gives us a little additional space in the park, while also respecting Publix's access drive there. So this is into the county now for review. So like everything, it'll take a couple months to just kind of go through the process, address comments, and hopefully by fall we'll have a green light and we can move forward with the final design and get this done. Other projects in planning are the traffic circles along 16th Street. I'm glad to say that the county has approved this already. So we actually got news today that the county was okay with the traffic studies for the 2 traffic circles on 63rd and on 62nd. The traffic circle on 62nd will actually remove the signal and have a large kind of monumental type of traffic circle there, similar to what we have over on 18th Street. It's an operational improvement in the county's eyes. Actually, the traffic study demonstrates that traffic flows quicker through the circle than through a stoplight. So they view it as an operational improvement, which actually opens the door for some funding from the county. So we'll be working with the county to get the designs done and approved and move on with the next stage of this project. Another one we have in for the review in the county right now is a mid-block crossing. This is something we've talked about for quite a while. So we've done the pedestrian studies for pedestrian flow and traffic flow have all been completed by the traffic engineer, and it's currently in the county for review. I believe we already got 1 round of comments, so we're still in the process with them. Hopefully get this completed here in the fall. And also part of the 16th Street approval that we just got for the circle, we're looking to expand that for a corridor-wide plan. We've talked about this before, just a few concepts that we've put down, but we're working on a kind of a master plan for the 16th Street corridor that incorporates the 2 circles and some of these expanded pedestrian and multi-purpose features along the corridor. There'll be more on this, I guess, in upcoming meetings as we progress with this. And we have a couple other studies that have started. This is the 60th Court road closure, which we're looking at doing between 10th Street and 11th Street on 60th Court. This will allow us a unique little space there for a pocket park. So I've worked with the manager on this. He prepared this concept, and we're looking at implementing something like this after we have the traffic study complete for the road closure, and then we'll move forward with a final design. Also in planning, this is kind of an adjacent project to the improvements at the rec center, looking at making this a one-way conversion so that we can add more parking on street and expand our parking capabilities for the park. This is also just started, so we're still working on this and hopefully get this into the county soon. And a new project we're looking at is some entrance features. So we're, this is early on in the planning process, but we're looking at all our entrances with the major roads along 57th and 67th, is the implementation of these entrance feature medians where we can provide monument signs, entrance signs. We can do a lot there just to kind of beautify our entrances and give give folks a presence when they know they're in, that they know they're in the city of West Miami. So I'll be working with the manager on some of these concepts, hashing these out, and seeing if we can implement some of them here in the coming future. So that's it. Oh, the last one was these RPMs. Well, I'm working with the department to kind of implement these along our traffic circles, on our major traffic circles on Sylvania and 18th. So that you look forward to these things. You'll see them at night.
Well, I don't know about you, but the report excites me. It excites me to see all the projects moving. I don't know. I know it's a little bit boring, but
it's exciting for me.
It's especially the expanded park spaces, which I can't wait till those projects get to Parks and Recreation level and we can flesh those out, because I think there's some unique things we can do with.
Yeah, we have a lot of
areas.
opportunity.
Yeah.
There's anywhere we can find it. I think it makes perfect sense to have more public space. So.
And then the circle on 16th, we got the approval on that.
Yep.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's a.
Yeah, they had no
action,
issue with the two circles, so we're going to move forward with final design and actually build them.
What's the timeline on what's going on with the drainage projects, the timelines?
On the drainage projects, I believe we're going to start now in the fall. We were just waiting for the new budget, and we're going to get started with that.
Beautiful.
But they're ready to go. We have the contracts ready with the contractor. And
beautiful. Any questions for the engineer? Go ahead.
Just the little lights that are going around the traffic circles,
Yep.
if we can throw those in the crosswalks potentially?
You can put them anywhere you want. Yeah, there's really no limit to what we can do with them. They're not really regulated like other traffic features are. So anywhere that you can put an RPM, we can implement these. So they're not incredibly costly, and something.
Commissioner, we're going to start with the Sylvania Circle because we've had a lot of incidences, and if you drive by it now, you'll see where cars have kind of missed the circle and gone over the mountable curb. So we want to put it there just for a safety issue. And then we are going to be looking at putting in RPMs, and we'll bring that back to you all, and looking at RPMs at some of these crosswalks. They're always a good safety feature for the community to have.
Yeah, when we do the mid-block crossing, that will have a lot of blinking stuff. So that one won't be a problem. No.
Any other questions for the engineer? Sounds like you're off the hook. All right.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Next item.
Item 9, committee reports.
Anyone for committee reports? Committee reports. I'd just like to report at this moment, I guess I'll use this time. We are live on the cable channel. Spoke to the manager. We fixed an issue that was about, I think we went off live on the cable about 5 years ago. It was a quite simple fix, actually. So we're back up live for anyone who wants to see it. And that's positive. So, next item.
Item 10, unfinished business. Item 10A, this item was deferred at the July 17, 2024 Commission meeting. This is a request for mitigation of lien for court violations at the property located at 5831 Southwest 13th Street, West Miami, Florida 33144, and owners Montserrat and Jonathan Correa.
Okay. Logan.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Montserrat Correa, and the address is 5831 Southwest 13th Street.
Yes. So my understanding is, I know we deferred the item. You were supposed to go back to the Code Enforcement Board on another matter, or a subsequent matter from the same issue.
Yes.
What happened at the Code Enforcement meeting?
So it was this past Monday. I don't know if the city manager would like to
go
speak.
ahead.
Thank you. Yes, we had the meeting on Monday. She indicated to us all the attempts she had to reach that other site that we had found. She has numerous attempts and numerous calls, and she had the log of all of it. She was kind enough to grant us access, I'm sorry, it's been a long day. Grant us access to her property. She's indicated that she's potentially moving back
Correct.
into the house. It's vacant. As far as we're concerned from a code compliance case, it's been cleared.
Okay, and I know last meeting it was deferred due to concern about the listing. That's been removed? That's all cleared out?
It has not been removed, but she has not, it's got nothing to do with her. She's attempted to reach him. It's a bogus number. She's called it. There's no answer.
Got it.
There's not much that we can do about that other than her good faith effort in trying to get it removed.
Well, that's the nature of the internet, right?
It's someplace in China. I don't even know how they got it on there.
Yeah, so, can we be reminded of we basically got to some level of agreement last meeting on reduction. What was the outcome of the code enforcement in terms of the actual fine?
15%, so $600.
And you're going to mitigate that as well as part of this one? Because this is for the first one.
No,
Okay,
I'll
so the
take the
first one,
600.
the first one, what are we mitigating?
It was brought down to $600.
I agree to that.
Oh,
And she- Yeah. And that's all that she has. This is just, we deferred back.
No, this is actually the deferral. What are we mitigating? Just
600.
600? Okay. All right, there's questions from the board?
What's the timeline we're going to provide to her?
She's in compliance. 30 days for payment.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
Yeah, I just have a question.
Go
So
ahead.
the total amount, the citation was originally $31,000.33, and we're mitigating it to $600, correct?
The code compliance board reduced it to 15%, and when she came in front of you all, we were talking about reducing it further. That's entirely up to you what you mitigate.
What was your recommendation?
She's in compliance right now. At 15% of the $31,000, that's $4,500. I think that's a little bit steep, somewhere in between.
I think at the last meeting, if I could speak, we were talking about
Yes.
1,000. If I
Yeah.
could do the 1,000 from the last one and the 600, I will pay the 1,600.
And we will be, Vice
Okay,
Mayor, we
because
will be okay with that.
remind me on this file, there was a check from a property manager that was paying the fee, basically,
paid all
the
the
registration
fees.
fee.
Correct.
Right, okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand, is there 2 violations or 1?
Yeah,
I'm
just
hearing 2
clear the
different
timeline.
numbers.
So just clear for the timeline. Yeah, let's just go clear the timeline.
There
because-
was 2 violations at the 2 different times, and we've listened to both, and as of right now, it's cleared, and it's up to the board as to what you want to put as a thing. I will say this is your first time. If it happens again, we will not be anywhere near as lenient
Understood. No,
in
understood.
mitigation.
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead.
Mr. Manager, what is your estimation of the cost in clerical work, and administrative work, post office, certified mail, the amount of man-hours that we've spent attending to this case? Is there an estimation to that? Because I think the city should at least, get that back.
We've had certain costs, yes, and we've also had police called out twice to the house for the Airbnb tenants. Do I have a cost number, Commissioner? No, but I would venture to guess it's $200-300 easy, if not more, in terms of our time. But the fee that we're talking about would cover that.
I just don't want any confusion on the board. So the first fine was for how much initially?
4,000, if I'm not mistaken.
I just want to get things back so
No
that there's no
problem.
confusion.
Give me 1 second, Mayor, please.
Yep.
And again, in the meantime, I know I kind of presented the case last time. I was unaware of the situation. I'm here because I want to fix it. No calls have been made to the house since that day.
Now, the important thing is, the most important thing is, that going forward, the neighborhood is clear of any of these things. I talked to residents over the weekend, not about your property, about a different property, and, you know, they were saying how some of these unruly Airbnbs, they almost moved out of the neighborhood, you know, that sort of stuff. So the important thing is that it's under control. Obviously, the city has to recover its costs, but the important thing is compliance, which I understand you've gone into compliance.
Yes.
And you will be in compliance, because, I mean, you don't have an obligation to live in the house, but you say you intend to live in the house, so I'm sure you won't be throwing those parties.
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
I do recall you, the last time you were here, you took ownership of the issue. And, you know, that's a rare thing for someone to stand here and say, yeah, it's my fault. And you did. And you were sitting there previously, and you saw all these residents that came up and proclaim how good this city is, and how nice it is, and how safe it is, and how clean it is, and how quiet it is, and how proud they are to live here.
Absolutely.
So I hope that left an impression on you.
Of course. No, this property has been in our family for years.
So like the mayor said, you know, we're lenient. You know, we want you to, you know, we don't want to hurt anyone. But, you know, if this kind of thing does happen again, then there'll be a consequence.
So where are we in the numbers?
It won't happen again.
What's going on?
Okay, that's for you, what she has paid, she's paid for one of the citations, 300, she's paid for two of the citations, 2 checks of $350. And she also had it, the occupational license and the payment for an Airbnb of $28.50 that she's paid after the fact. The biggest issue that you claimed last time is that you weren't aware of all these fines that were running on a daily basis, because I believe that she wasn't getting and I'm not going to speak for her, but I believe you weren't getting the right information
I
back
did not.
from the property manager.
I didn't get any information. He was unaware. That I got the call May 6th from Litzy. I may be confusing the name. And from that moment, everything was halted. It was not brought to my attention. And it was happening since February, if I'm not mistaken. And I got the call in May.
Okay. As far as I can recall, we had, we were pending last meeting, the clearing of the website. Obviously, we've looked into that. You know, we do what we can in the center world. So with that, can we get someone to, we need to move on this item.
I mean, Mayor, I think you asked what the fines were, and I don't think we've heard yet what they were. I don't know if they have that information.
Go ahead.
Or what are we mitigating to?
The lien that was placed on her house was $31,000. We had that reduced at the board, and it was subsequently reduced here. That's up for discussion from you all as to what you want to do.
Well, she's only mitigating one fine, right? This is just the deferral from the last.
That's correct, from the $31,000 one, which is the main one. The other one?
That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
Yes, the $31,000.
She's paying the other one separately.
The other one I'm going to take
The
care
other one
of.
she paid.
That one's already code enforcement. We're not dealing with that. So we're only dealing with the one that we're dealing with last time. This is just a deferral. The deferral was mainly around the potential for the property to continue being used as Airbnb. Obviously, we can't clear that. We understand what's going on there. It's not being used as Airbnb. And we'll have you know, surveillance on that. So with that, can we get a direction to move in a direction here from the board?
Just-
Approving, amending what, like, just, let's do something.
She says she's comfortable paying $1,600. That covers costs from the city. I'll move the $1,600.
Was that correct?
Second that.
Wait, hold on. I just want to make sure we're getting payment here. What was the numbers? What were the numbers? Get the numbers right. This can't be that. This can't be that. This can't be that complicated. So let's get the numbers right. What is the number that we are? You said 1,600. I remember a 600. What was the number?
No, she said, she indicated she would be comfortable with $1,600 the second time she said it.
16.
And we would be okay with that. I mean, that's a substantial.
Out of 30 days?
At 30 days.
Okay, beautiful. Read the resolution.
Yes. Item 10B, resolution of Mayor and City Commission of the City of West Miami authorizing the city manager to accept a mitigation offer in the amount of $1,600 from Montserrat and Jonathan Correa on code enforcement lien for code violation of the property located at 5831 Southwest 13th Street, West Miami, Florida, providing that if payment in full is not paid in 30 days, then the amount owed shall revert to the original lien amount, providing for an effective date. Motion by Commissioner Chavez, second by Commissioner Blanes. On the vote, Commissioner Suarez, how do you vote? Commissioner Blanes.
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Milian Orbis.
Yes.
Mayor Diaz-Padrón.
Yes.
5-0, item passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Item 11, under new business agenda items, item 11A. This is a second reading and a public hearing. An ordinance of the City of West Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager not more frequently than every 2 years to adjust any and all fees related to any and all operations or services of the city which are funded by fees charged to beneficiaries of the operations or services, often but not always known as enterprise funds, based upon a good faith estimate of the fees necessary to cover the direct and indirect costs of the city in providing such operations or services, providing that no surplus or fee revenue in connection with any operation or service exceeding the direct and indirect costs of providing such operation or service shall be used for any other purpose, providing that no such fee adjustment shall be set so as to intentionally provide a surplus in connection with any such operation or service, providing that any such proposed fee adjustment shall be made known to the City Commission and the public at a commission meeting and shall not become effective until 5 days following a subsequent commission meeting, providing for the repeal of all ordinances or part thereof in conflict herewith, providing for surveyability, providing for codification, and for an effective date. This is a public hearing, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Public hearing is now open. Anyone who wishes to speak on public hearing, this is your time. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Back to the board. Any questions on this ordinance, the manager? I'm sure you've all thoroughly
Motion.
dealt with this. Motion?
Second.
Second?
Well, I have a question
Go ahead.
to clarify this. I have understand you have in this, you have the chance every 2 years to bring to the commission the adjustment that you consider is necessary, right?
Commissioner, I have a chance to look at the fees, review them,
But according with the,
publish
I mean,
them, bring
my-
them to the commission, and then you have a chance to review them at that time if you so. if
my
you so
question
choose.
is to clarify that. I
Yes,
said
you have-
bring, and then the commission will see, and we get together in the decision, right?
If you agree with it, it becomes
Okay.
the new fee schedule. If you don't, you have a, you have the.
Okay, I just want to clarify that.
Yeah, yes, the
That
commission
this
will have the
board-
final review of
The
it.
board will participate with that.
That is correct.
Second,
Who was the motion? Oh, Commissioner
The
Blanes?
motion was second already.
Okay. Call the
Can I
roll?
call the vote? Yes. Commissioner Suarez, how do you vote?
yes,
Commissioner Chavez?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Milian Orbis?
No.
Mayor Diaz-Padrón?
Yes.
4-1, item passes.
Thank you. Next item, E.
Item 11E, and there is an amendment that is before you tonight for this ordinance. This is a first reading, an ordinance of the mayor and the city commission of the city of West Miami relating to solicitation of business or sales on private property, enacting the private property peace section for the purpose of preserving the tranquility and privacy of residents, prohibiting any person, firm, corporation, or other legal entity to engage in solicitation of private residential property within the municipal limits between the hours of 7 p.m., please note the change, and 8 a.m., providing for enforcement, providing for an effective date.
Would you like to, this is the first reading. Would you like to make the motion?
Yes, this is first reading.
May I say,
Second.
Mr. Mayor, that what was advertised was 8 to 8, so, and I believe the commissioner would like to make it 7 to 8, so we need a motion to do that.
Would you like the motion as amended?
Yeah, there's also another amendment.
Go ahead.
Section 971 mentions canvassing, that entire line should be struck out. It's a scrivener's error. So with that amendment, I'll make a motion.
And a second.
Okay. Call the roll?
Commissioner Chavez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez?
yes.
Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Milian Orbis?
Yes.
Mayor Diaz-Padrón?
Yes.
5-0, item passes.
Thank you. Next item?
Item F, This is a first reading, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of West Miami, Florida, rescinding the city's solid waste franchise ordinance 2011-04, sections 841 through 845 of Article 2 of Chapter 8, providing definitions and methodology in connection, revising fees for commercial and multi-family residential solid waste collection franchisees, providing for an exemption for tax-exempt organizations from paying a fee to franchisees, to allow the franchisee to recoup the cost of franchise fee payable to the city, revising fees for commercial and multifamily residential solid waste collection franchisees, providing for a dumpster registration fee paid by the franchisee for commercial and multifamily residential solid waste collection activities, providing for inclusion in the code, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Motion.
This is a first reading. We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Call the roll.
Yes, Commissioner Chavez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Milian Orbis?
Yes.
Mayor Diaz-Padrón?
Yes.
5-0, item passes, and the second reading and public hearing will be advertised for September 25th, 2024 at 6 p.m.
Thank you. Next item.
Item 11G, this is a first reading, an ordinance of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of West Miami, Florida, relating to zoning, amending Appendix A of the fee schedule of the Code of Ordinances relating to park impact fees, providing for commercial park impact fees for new developments, providing for ordinances in conflict, codification, severability, and an effective date.
Motion.
You have a motion. This is a first
Second.
reading. We have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Chavez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Milian Orbis?
Yes.
Mayor Diaz-Padrón?
Yes.
5-0, item passes, and public hearing and second reading on September 25th, 2024 at 6 p.m.
Thank you. Next item.
Item H, this is a first reading, an ordinance of the City of West Miami, Florida, amending Chapter 20 of the Code of Ordinances entitled Traffic and Motor Vehicles by creating Article 4 entitled Speed Detection System for Enforcement of School Zone Speed Limits, providing for the use of traffic infraction detectors in accordance with state law, providing for codification, severability, conflicts, and an effective date.
It's a first reading.
Motion.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Yes. Oh, yes. Go ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission. Just wanted to touch base here because we have somebody making a presentation, so I'd like to...
You ruined my rhythm. I was on a roll.
I apologize for that, Mr. Mayor. So during the 2023 legislative session, the Florida legislature passed House Bill 657, which amended certain provisions of state law governing the use of automated speed detection system in school zones. It became law July 1st, 2023. Where speeding in designated school zones presents a threat to the health and safety of the public, not to mention our children, particularly the school-age children who attend schools in the city. I'd like to now call up the representative of Red Speed, and this is retired Assistant Chief for Miami Beach Police Department and one of the past presidents for the Miami-Dade County Association of Chiefs of Police, David De Las Priella. Come on up, Dave.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, Mr. Manager, City Attorney, City Clerk. I have a presentation, if they can put it up. Unless you wanted to take the vote, of course, we can speed this up.
No, go ahead.
It looked like you wanted to keep going.
Well, it's a first reading, so go ahead.
So I work for, like the Chief Delgado said, I work now for Red Speed. I'm really thrilled that I'm here today just because of the presentations that you all made earlier today to the two schools. It kind of really ties into the whole idea that the safety of our children obviously is paramount. So what you have before you is the first reading to the ordinance that's going to allow for, after second reading, to be able to institute and implement a program such as this. So as you can see, Florida doesn't do too well in terms of rankings for school zones and danger in school zones. So the fact that the legislature passed this bill last year is very timely. I'm going to go through these first few slides really quick because there's a video that really does a great job in capturing the whole thing, and I think that will provide the best overview so that we don't tie you up for too long. The bottom line is that we want to slow down because that saves lives. Somebody getting hit at 20 miles per hour is very different than getting hit at 45 miles per hour in terms of their survivability. So we really want to slow people down. The state law highlights, these are the highlights of the state law that the chief kind of briefly touched on. It's a statewide law. It's only to be enforced during actual school days. So for example, in the summertime when school is out, the cameras would not be issuing any kind of violations. It is only 30 minutes before school starts throughout the day to 30 minutes after school ends. So it is not a 24/7 type of enforcement mechanism. This is just about us, but I'm going to move forward. We do have, our company has been in Georgia for 6 years now. We've got well over 70 agencies, 70% of the market share in Georgia. And our list in Florida has substantially grown since this slide was made. I think we just passed our 20th customer last 2 nights ago. I was up in the city of Alachua where they approved implementing this program. Just to point out here, the Florida Police Chiefs Association has endorsed Red Speed as a preferred partner. That was a pretty big deal for us. There are quite a few vendors in this space, but through the vetting process that they did, we were fortunate enough to be selected by the Florida Police Chiefs Association. Just a couple highlights of the equipment. We do have one-of-a-kind technology, daytime violation, inclement weather violations, low light violations. We use video, which is a little different as opposed to just taking a picture. And that facilitates the ability to better capture the license plates. This is the video.
For more than 3 decades, speeding has been involved in approximately 1/2 of all motor vehicle fatalities. Speeding endangers not only the life of the speeder, but all the people on the road around them. Florida is the most dangerous state for pedestrians. To address this, the Florida legislature passed a bipartisan law, HB 657, to stop egregious speeding in school zones. It's a statewide law. Speed may be enforced only when school is in session, and a half hour before classes start, during, and a half hour after school ends. Cameras can only be placed in designated school zones. Violations are issued for speeds exceeding posted speed limit by 10 miles per hour, and signs must be posted prior to the camera location. The municipality or county must conduct a public awareness campaign and issue warning for a period of 30 days prior to commencing enforcement. There's a $100 civil penalty. 60% of the fine is retained by the issuing county or municipality and must be used for public safety, while 40% is divided between various state programs. Red Speed Florida is a turnkey speed photo enforcement provider with 2 decades of experience in creating and maintaining photo enforcement programs for over 120 communities in 4 states. Red Speed will help you identify possible camera locations by conducting in-depth speed studies, compile all necessary paperwork for permit applications, purchase, install, and maintain camera equipment, and provide full back-office support for the entire violation lifecycle. All services are provided at no cost to your community and are paid for by fines to the violators exceeding the school zone speed threshold. Red Speed speed cameras can not only enforce speed, but also provide your police department with invaluable video and license plate recognition capability used for purposes of determining criminal or civil liability for incidents captured by the speed detection system, incidental to the permissible use of the speed detection system. Red Speed's turnkey photo enforcement solution improves school zone safety, provides revenue for public safety initiatives, and comes at no cost to the municipality. Based on customer needs and enforcement location, Red Speed uses either a 3D tracking radar or lane-specific LiDAR, an above-ground non-invasive detection method with lane-specific identification and speed triggers that record accurate speeds within plus or minus 1 mile per hour. Our camera is powerful enough to simultaneously track 350 objects in its field of view. In addition to issuing speed violations, comprehensive speed statistics are compiled by the system and can help clients determine if there is a need for additional enforcement. The system performs a daily startup calibration check and will start enforcement only after all checks are passed successfully. RedSpeed's speed cameras work in all weather conditions and can be configured to work simultaneously with video and automatic license plate recognition. Video. The RedSpeed system provides a video archive that can be used for incidental criminal and civil enforcement, real-time video streaming, and 45-day video access via any device, consistent with state law for determining civil or criminal liability for events captured incidental to enforcement. Authorized users can access HD video from any of the overview and lane-specific...
I'll just touch on this last slide, and then I'll open it up for questions if you have any. To me, this is the most important slide. And on the left is the most important reason for going with this kind of a program. It improves the safety of the school zones. The rest for me is secondary.
Yeah, look, I don't want to go into it too much. I know we're in first reading of the ordinance to even talk about the program itself. You know, we do have a problem with 16th Street speeding. It's 16th Street is a school zone. That is a major problem, as you probably heard all the circles and everything we're trying to do. Yeah, so I don't want to go into it too much because we're going to have a second reading, and at that point, it'll be public hearing. But yeah, it is a problem for us. Does anyone have any questions on the specific offerings that he has?
Yeah, we didn't really want to speed through, like you said, but, you know, it is the first reading. But, you know, when it comes to the safety of children, I think I speak for everyone here and everybody in the public. We will do whatever it takes to make children safe.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's a no-brainer.
No-brainer. Yeah. Thank you, Commissioner. Right.
Thank
you, sir.
May I say, Mr. Mayor and
Yes.
Commission, that it is expected that at the hearing, there will be one of these school zones identified. And in that case, we will describe that school zone in here rather than using a list Appendix A. But it is your one school zone on
16th Street.
16th, right? On 16th that is expected. I didn't write it in there because the hearing is supposed to produce that evidence, and then you won't have an Appendix A, you'll have one district. And these are not criminal citations, by the way. It's correct that this information could be used in any way. If there's a fatality or other things, the information under any rules of judicial evidence could be used. But this citation itself is not a point citation on your license.
Correct.
Understood.
I'll move it on first reading.
First reading move, all right. We got a motion?
Motion. Second.
You got a second, call the roll.
Okay, previously we had a motion by Blanes,
Chavez.
second by Suarez,
Oh, wait, you make a motion on it first?
like we had already.
Okay.
That was speeding.
Pick whichever one you want.
Okay, so
All
let's
rows
do
is
it
the
again
same,
then.
yep, let's go.
Okay, motion by Vice Mayor Milian Orbis, second by Commissioner Chavez.
Let's go for it. All right, call the roll.
Okay, Commissioner Blanes, how
Yes.
do you vote? Commissioner Chavez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Milian Orbis?
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Mayor Diaz-Padrón?
Yes.
5-0, item passes.
Thank
Second
you.
reading and public hearing on September 25th at 6 p.m.
Thank you. Next item.
Next item is item 11I, a first reading, an ordinance of the Commission of the City of West Miami, Florida, amending Chapter 15, Article 3, Section 1552, clarifying the means and methods regarding owner/tenant deposits for water utility payments and fines, and process to close/disconnect water services, providing for codification, conflict, severability, and providing for an effective date.
I want to make a motion for this.
We got a motion, we got a second, call the roll.
Yes, Commissioner Suarez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez?
Yes.
Commissioner, I'm sorry, Commissioner Suarez, Commissioner Chavez, Commissioner Blanes? Vice Mayor Milian Orbis?
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry. And Mayor Diaz-Padrón?
Yes.
5-0, item passes, September 25th, 2024, at 6 p.m., public hearing and
Perfect.
second reading.
Next item.
Next item, lots of ordinances. First reading, an ordinance of the City of West Miami, Florida relating to art in public places, establishing the city's Art in Public Places program, providing for guidelines, criteria, and establishment of fees for the programs, For programs funding, providing for ordinances in conflict,
Jay.
codification, severability, and an effective date.
This is first reading.
Motion.
You have a motion.
Second.
You have a second. Chavez, second. Call the roll.
Yes, Commissioner Chavez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Milian Orbis?
Yes.
Mayor Diaz-Padrón?
Yes.
5-0, item passes. September 25th, second reading, public hearing at 6 p.m.
Thank you. Next item.
Item K, this is a resolution of the mayor and the city commission of the city of West Miami authorizing the city manager to execute a change order with John Bell Construction Incorporated in the amount of $57,246 for additional work associated with the basketball court foundation pads at the West Miami Recreation Center, providing for funding, providing for an effective date.
Does anyone from the board have any questions for the manager?
I just wanted to make a comment.
Go ahead.
I'm not a fan of change orders, and obviously a change order can seem like a misplanning on the city's end. So I know this is already underway, so I'll yield to my colleagues on that. But
Yeah, I think it's important to add some context, Mr. Manager.
It's a change order only because we're adding it to the scope of the work, but it's really not a change order. This is actually part of Phase 2 of the rec center, and the issue is one of timing. It would have been very difficult for us to come in and do this afterwards, so we have opted to go ahead and do it now since they have the heavy equipment there, and they will have a very hard time getting that, and I'm laughing because it's something that Commissioner Suarez and I talked about today. It'll be very hard for them to get the equipment in to do this afterwards as part of the Phase 2. So I opted to go ahead and allow them to go ahead and do this now or get your approval for this now, only because it'll save time, efforts, and actually, in the long run, save us funding, because the only other way to do it would have been to do the foundations by hand. So this is actually really a part of Phase 2. It's really not a change order to Phase 1.
thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Manager, this is good planning on your part. I congratulate you because, this is a foresight that you have. This is something that if we wanted to do in the future and it wasn't done now, it will cost us a lot more. And this is something that, we will probably want to do.
That is correct.
And then we'll enhance the service there at the rec immensely. So thank you for that.
I'm glad that it was explained so that the public can hear it. It was explained to each of us individually. It made perfect sense. So,
Can we get a...
This is for making the foundation.
Yes.
We have to do it, and that's it. I make a motion.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Call the roll.
Yes, Commissioner Blanes, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez?
yes.
Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Milian Orbis?
Yes.
Mayor Diaz-Padrón?
Yes.
5-0, item passes.
Thank you. Next item.
Item L, a resolution of the mayor and city commission of the city of West Miami, Florida relating to grants approving the purchase of exercise equipment to be installed at Cooper Park related to the FERDAP grant agreement number A24068, accepting the quote received from Outdoor Workout Supply in the amount of $26,954, authorizing the city manager to purchase and have equipment installed, and providing an effective date.
Anything from the board?
So I didn't do a committee report earlier because this item was on the agenda.
Go ahead.
Can we bring up Jenny to?
I was going to ask if you all wanted to, the grant writer's here, and she can discuss the equipment. There is one piece that we had to substitute. It's very similar, but I'll let her do the explanation of that. This full grant's $50,000. This part's $26,000, because there's a second part to this, which is the rubberized finish to the exercise area. And we need movement on this because as it stands right now, and I'm sorry to take a couple of minutes of your time, you can only have 3 grants open with the state at any one time for parks. I need to close this. The cycle's starting again. We want to submit again for more funding, so it's kind of important that we get this approved. And I'm going to take a 2-minute announce here.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission, and the public. I'm Jenny Hall, the grants manager. This is related to the exercise equipment project, which before the Parks and Rec Board, we did get your approval on 8 pieces of equipment which were stated in the FERDAP grant that we applied for. So the 8 items were elliptical machine, chest press, lateral pull down, energy and strength wheels, leg press, ADA hand cycle, and recumbent cycle, and assisted step trainer. In my seeking quotes to fulfill this project, 2 items came back that were equivalent, but we couldn't get exactly the same thing, were for the recumbent cycle. It's a Playground Fitness single station exercise bike. And for the energy and strength wheels, it's a Tai Chi hand swing. That's the one with communicating with the contractor. That will be the equivalent. So all these are able to be purchased. We got the quote from the outdoor workout for $26,009 something, and we'll still have money left to do the rest of the grant, which was for $50,000 to put rubberized into the existing exercise area. But the exercise equipment, we need your approval to move forward so we can get this project going and close down.
Just for clarification, it's at Cooper Park.
It is
The
at
outdoor
Cooper Park.
equipment that's already there is being replaced. And a timeline for this to be completed?
We're looking at between the end of the year, early next year, but we're shooting for the end of the year with the holidays. You never know what hiccups may arise. But
Well, we're waiting for the manager anyways to get back, because
Okay.
we need it for the next 2 items. The Neat Streets grant, are we on track to close that out?
yes, there were a couple of issues with some trees that we have like 3 or 4 remaining. The contractor is coming in. We're closing that out by the end of the week, but
Beautiful.
most of the trees are planted.
Great.
Like
Great.
99+%.
Do we have a motion on the item in front of us?
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Suarez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Milian Orbis?
Yes.
Mayor Diaz-Padrón?
Yes.
5-0, item passes.
Thank you. Next item.
Item M, resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of West Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to execute change order number 1 in the amount of $49,517.83 for that certain contract authorized by Resolution 2023-89 with McGold, Inc. for the purpose of completing the potable water main improvement Phase 2 project, which is attached hereto and made a part hereof as Exhibit A, providing for funding, providing for an effective date.
Mr. Manager?
Sorry, Mayor. Our city engineer's here, he can discuss it if you need be, but this is basically the water line that's running under the Sylvania traffic circle. We have 2 options: leave it as it was originally planned to be able to break up the road and do it, or try to change it for aesthetic reasons and do it direct boring under the street so we don't break up the street. And he could further explain that.
Go ahead.
So the water main, one of the main extensions we're bringing in on this Phase 2 project is along 12th Street. So we originally planned to basically kind of snake the pipe around the water, the big water fountain we have there. So we opted to get a proposal from the contractor to see what it would cost to just basically bore under. It's similar process to what they've been doing on the rear easements, but it's a 12-inch pipe. We've been doing 4-inch pipes here, so it's obviously a much more significant operation. This will basically preserve all of Sylvania, which we've already gone through a couple times in Milden Resurface. So, it's basically just a feature so that we don't have to disturb that water fountain and potentially damage it or have to repave that entire circle again.
Okay. Any questions for the engineer?
Motion.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Suarez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Milian Orbis?
Yes.
Mayor Diaz-Padrón?
Yes.
5-0, item passes.
Thank you. Next item.
Item N, a resolution of the Mayor and City Commission of the City of West Miami, Florida, authorizing the city manager to engage the services of a planning consultant for the purpose of assisting the city with planning, zoning, and land use matters, providing for an effective date.
We have a motion.
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 Second.
Second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Suarez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Milian Orbis?
Yes.
Mayor Diaz-Padrón?
Yes.
5-0, item passes.
Thank you. And let's get into the good stuff.
Yes, this is the preliminary budget for fiscal year 2024-2025 submittal. Item O, submission of the preliminary city budget for fiscal year 2024-2025. City manager.
Let's see how this works with let's see how savvy I am with the, with this clicker. Mayor, commissioners, and residents, this is a workshop. I want to go through the numbers. We will be putting this online after this meeting for our residents to be able to review it and go through it. And remember that we are a community that we're united by the community, but we're driven by our residents. One second, please. There we go. So where are we now? We are August 28th, which is our preliminary budget, and discussing the proposed preliminary numbers that we have. We set the maximum ceiling rate for our budget at 5.95 at our July 10th meeting. It's what's been advertised and what's been sent out by the Property Appraiser's Office. But our first real budget hearing is September the 10th, followed up with a final budget approval on September the 25th. So here's some of the highlights that we've had as a city. From the mayor, congratulations again for being appointed to the Transportation and Planning Organization. That is a big deal. That gives us a seat at the table on any and all transportation issues that may come up. You and the commission have secured numerous fundings from state and federal levels. The city clerk has purchased software agenda, and there's a lot of requests that are coming up for public records that we're going to try to resolve by a software program that's up and coming. I'm not going to go through all these because it's a long presentation, but this will be up online for anybody to be able to go through it and see it and look at all the accomplishments. I will say one thing in special events. On September the 13th, I believe, is when we're going to have a salsa in the park that's upcoming. So please stay tuned for that. And it goes on and on. There's been a lot accomplished, and I would need to say this. I'm only as good as my staff. My staff is here tonight in case you had any questions for them, and I want to thank them all, every last one of them, for everything that they've done to make us be able to deliver the product that you've had for the last year, because without them we would not have been able to do this. So who are we by the numbers? Our average property value is $722,000, which is higher than the Miami-Dade County average. Our household income is higher than the county average. It's interesting to note that 57.2% are homesteaded properties, but only 60% of our houses have a mortgage. That means that we're a very stable community. Moving forward, our property values have increased 8.2%, which is very good. However, that's the lowest increase in the whole entire county. Some other budget revenue information that's pertinent. We have 1,503 housing units. We've had a 3% increase in the homesteaded properties from the last period, which means more people are buying the homes here and staying. And our median taxable value is $204,307. Our millage rate that we're proposing tonight in a preliminary budget hearing is 5.92. That is 30% lower than the major height of 2006 when we were at 8.495. So for a comparison, at the same median taxable rate, each homeowner here, each resident here, if we were still at that rate, would be paying $520 more annually a year. So this commission and building on previous commissions have been able to lower everybody's tax bill by over $500 annually. That's our organizational chart. It always starts with the residents, followed by the commission, our charter officers, and from there we move down. So how are your taxes divided? Everybody, on the median taxable value of $204,000, your average tax bill is $4,200.88. But that is not what we receive. We receive only 28% of that dollar. There's a substantial amount more, that of 68%, that goes both to the county and to the public school system. So out of that bill of $4,288, the city collects $1,215. It's important to note that we do have a fund balance policy. GFOA recommendations, which is the first time we've ever followed this as a city, recommends that you need to have 3 months of operating in a reserve, and that's just good general practice. We exceed it. We should be at 2.3. We're almost at $3 million, and we're not done making sure that that continues to grow. So where are the other reserves? We have over $800,000 of unrestricted funds that are available to us. Our fund balance policy of 2.9, and then we have set-asides for grants, set-asides for police equitable shares, and a bunch of other lesser amounts and a lot of different other deposits. At this moment, in the bank, we have substantially over $10 million in the bank. So where are we? Here's our revenue projections, because you can't really do anything unless you know what you really have in terms of revenues. There's the ad valorem taxes, that's the first point, followed by our franchise fees, excise tax, state share based on population, our revenues for fines and forfeitures, and if you continue going on, you have the revenues for some of the fees and services that we do, such as passports, occupational licenses, business licenses, zoning, certificate of use, et cetera, et cetera. The bottom line on all of this is that we are projecting a revenue stream of a little bit over $11 million for the upcoming year, $11,492,000. Hold on 1 second, it's not, there you go. If you add the park revenues into that, our total revenue stream is $13,369,000, and it's broken up by the pies. As you can see, the biggest revenue streams for us are ad valorem taxes, fines and forfeitures, and what we get out of the Park and Rec Fund. Speaking of Park and Recs, here's the revenue projections for Park and Rec. Remember that we have 1 mil of the 5.92 that is dedicated for our Parks and Rec. So what is our expenditures? Now that we know what we have to spend, and we justified everything that we're doing to ensure that we had a correct budget for this year. Where are we? In the City Commission, we've gone up slightly, but that's because we moved a commission chief of staff over there, and that's the difference in that. There's the staffing levels for the City Commission, and we can keep on going through all of them. Here's the city clerk's expenditures, the city attorney's expenditures, the executive department expenditures, and this is one of the places where we're doing a little bit of changes. We took the deputy manager, she was before this year on overseeing communications and information technology, but we moved her into our department, my department, and we're also going to be hiring a full-time receptionist, because we do listen to the complaints, and one of the complaints that we have is that the system that was set up here, an automatic system, just wasn't serving our residents the way it should be. So we've opted this year to hire a receptionist to be able to have that live voice on the phone that could answer our residents and get them an answer as soon as possible. On the city passports, again, there's a change here because we moved one person out of the city passport department. Communications information technology, the numbers relatively comes down because, again, this is where the deputy manager was, and now she's in the executive department. On finance, the number's fairly stable. The biggest difference here is that we're going to bring another part-timer in to help us continue implementation, the change in software, because as I've informed the commission and the residents before, we've had one heck of a time trying to modernize and update our software for finance to ensure that we have the proper accounting processes in here. On public safety, I'm pleased to report that we are adding 2 police officers. One of the most important things that I also can report tonight is that our crime rate year to year has dropped another 10%, which is very important. That's kudos to our police department and the fine efforts that they've been putting forth. On public works, on the facility side, that the numbers there, on the facility side, last year, we brought some field supervisors. These are basically people that are ensuring that our grass doesn't die, our trees don't die, that our irrigation systems are working. What we invest in terms of landscaping, we want to make sure it's here for the long haul, not something that we just plug and play and forget about. On the maintenance side, which is everything from overseeing the recreation center that's being built to a lot of the street work projects, that is what the maintenance side does. This is also where sanitation, water, and all the other things report to. Our city fleet management is our mechanics, and we actually moved one person that was in maintenance over to here because, quite honestly, was working here helping out the mechanic all the time, so we just thought this is the right place for him to be. City general government, we've gone through this with a fine-tooth comb. We are looking at everything with a fresh set of eyes, and we're analyzing everything from insurance to workman's comp. I can tell you on the workman's comp, we were unfortunately tied to the Miami-Dade County system, which means that we were not able to get the safety reduction that we should have been entitled to for many years. And that number has gone up slightly because obviously some of the costs have gone up in terms of insurances. So the breakdown here is, as you can tell, obviously public safety is 33% of our budget, general government's 33% of our budget, and all the other departments range from 1% to 7%. On the park side, last year we had moved the community center to be a part of the Parks and Rec, because eventually they will be in the same facility once our multi-generational center is done. And it stays that way this year. We are looking at potential increases in grants and in services in there that we will hopefully be able to report back to the commission by the next couple of meetings, but we think that there is some more grants that we can obtain for the community center. So let's talk about some of the enterprise funds. Sanitation. Right now, we're looking at a fund that currently owes the general fund almost $800,000 on reimbursements. These are fee-generated funds. We have not raised the sanitation fees for over 15 years, something that we need to look at. Stormwater is basically okay. It kind of covers itself. The water is the same thing. We haven't looked at the water fee since 2009. And unfortunately, like everything else, Miami-Dade Water and Sewer raises the prices on us as well on an annual basis. This is the Sewer 1 and Sewer 2. Community development. Community development, we think, is stabilizing, and we're very, very happy with what's happening in community development. We've been able to change and modify our building department where we're actually being able to do inspections on an as-needed basis instead of once a week. We're doing reviews in a very quick manner, and we're actually reporting the stuff that we need to be reporting. Surtax looks like it's going to be $503,000 for the year. So then if you look at the expenditure size, it'll match the revenues. the way that we're doing the revenues and the expenditures, they will balance. And this is one of the key components of this budget, is we want to make sure that these things balance. So, same with stormwater, water, and the sewer funds, as well as the community development fund. I'm sorry, I'm going the wrong way. Why are we going back to sewer?
No, it's because it's there.
All right, now I do want to take a moment and talk about our existing debt service. In 2006, we had a debt of $4,366,000. By the end of the next fiscal year, our debt will be down to $858,000. My recommendation at that time will be to pay it off so that we do not have any debt going into the year after. Our maximum debt limit, there's rules and regulations for what our maximum debt is, but even what we owe right now at $858,000 is unheard of. It's less than 1% of our general fund revenues, and that is a testament to the people, our predecessors, and it's a testament to what we've been able to do. We paid off a couple of the things early, and we're contemplating doing that same with one of our other items that we have that's going to be that the final payment's in December. We're thinking about doing it now in September and just completely taking it off our books. Overall expenditures by fund, our general fund is 37% of our overall budget. Our overall budget, including capital projects, is a little bit shy of $29 million. In capital projects, that big number of $12,406,000 is mostly grants that this commission has been able to, this commission, our grant writer, has been able to obtain for the residents, and nothing in the budget includes taxpayer money. So a comparison of all our funds, we believe our general revenue, our revenue stream for general is $11,492,000, and our expenditures are $10,779,000. There's a difference there of $713,000, but we have a couple things that we will be recommending to the board going forward. One of them is to buy a street sweeper. That's the second biggest complaint that I get, that our streets aren't being maintained. The sweeper we have now is just not doing the service that I think our residents or the standards that this commission has put forward. So we need to address that, and we need to ensure that we can be able to handle that in the correct way. I do need to buy the exercise equipment for the multi-generational center, and this is also the part of the fund that I would like to take for. But the remainder will be split evenly between GFOA and our unrestricted reserves. Our goal is to grow our unrestricted reserves to $1.5 million, $2 million in the next 2 to 3 years. We understand that we need to have as much money as possible in the reserves, but we also need to serve our residents in a prudent way and to ensure that they live in a city that they can be very proud of. Now let's talk about our capital projects. It's where we start and it's where we end, and we got to make sure that we revisit this capital project constantly. You start by identifying the projects that you want to put into the capital projects. You've got to identify what the funding source might be. Then we have to prioritize them, budget them, and then the most important part of them all is implementation and getting that project done. The list is here. The first 3 are water line replacements, as you saw from our city engineer. The first one's well underway. The second one's out for bid, and the third one's going to be following very shortly. Then we have some drainage projects. We also discussed Southwest 16th Street Corridor Improvement Plan. We discussed the traffic calming plan. That's where the dog park's going to be. The mid-block plan. And then again, the most important one again is the multi-generational phase 1, which is the building component only for the multi-generational fund. And I want to get to that. You can go through this at your leisure and we can talk about it. We've had a lot of discussion about the multi-generational fund, and I just want to alleviate some of the fears of our residents. That original contract was approved by this commission at $6.2 million, but it's actually come in at $5.7 million. We have paid $855,000 to date. That is out of ARPA, which is federal grant money, not taxpayer money, grant money. And the rest of it and the funding for the for our multi-generational center is as follows. It's $4,050,000 from ARPA, $850,000 from a state grant, and the rest is from the recreational fund grant that was always earmarked for this center. In addition to that, we have our water projects that are ongoing in our city. The first one is a $3 million project. We paid $305,000 to date. This is a federal EPA grant. Mayor, as you know, this is something that we got from our congresswoman, and we got very, very close to losing it, and luckily we were able to save it at the last minute. And without that, that would have been a huge hole for our future in our city. The second one, which our city engineer spoke about, is Phase 3. That's to be determined as to who the contractor is, because that's going out for bidding now in the fall. And we have $4.2 million worth of grants for that. But we also have 3 other grants that are out there. One, we're going to be closing out. Thanks to you for the commission for approving the exercise equipment for Cooper Park. That was a FERDAP grant. I missed the R in FERDAP. The second one is we also have a $50,000 grant for Cooper for resurfacing and widening our trails at Cooper Park. And the last one is we have a $200,000 grant for our pickleball courts and ball fields that we have to match, and we have the money offset. If you saw one of the earlier slides, it said we had money already set aside for that. And I didn't think it would be this quick, but I'll take any questions that the commission may have now.
You missed a slide. Like you missed the last slide. Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I mean, you went over all that stuff, I guess.
We went over it. This is our funding priorities for next year. Complete the recreation center, the dog park, complete the water projects. We're proposing adding 2 police officers to our roster. As you already mentioned tonight, we've relaunched our access channel that's been off the air for over 5 years. Complete our storm drainage projects, add art in public places, fix our enterprise funds, and fix our comprehensive and zoning codes that were out of compliance, and we need to bring that up to speed as quickly as possible. And lastly, is continue expanding our tree canopy, specifically down 8th Street. And with that, thank you, and I'll take any questions.
So this is just a submission. I know you guys have all sat down with the manager probably already, and we'll sit down with him subsequently a few times. But does anyone have anything for the manager at this moment?
It's a clean budget, exciting. A lot more green space is coming, working on the tree canopy, public safety, all things that this commission has been pushing forward. So thank you for working with us on that, and the residents are excited. I've spoken to a lot of them, and they're excited for what's to come.
Now, there's definitely a lot of things in there that are exciting, move the ball forward. Obviously, there will be some changes to come, because I know we discussed some projects that we want to move around, and I'm sure that will be the case for the commission. But let's move forward. Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Manager, I want to thank you and your staff for presenting such a precise and concise report. I'm really impressed, especially with the capital project timeline, capital projects. At a glance, you can see everything that we have that's going, that's pending. You can see the amounts that it costs. You can see the time. I mean, this is really a wonderful thing. It's a delight. And I encourage all the residents out there to get this document and look at it. And a lot of your issues and concerns will be dispelled. Again, I don't think we've ever had a document like this presented to a commission in a very, very long time. I don't think maybe ever. This is such an incredible document where a kindergartner can actually look at it and understand what's going on. So I thank you. I thank you very much, and your staff. All, you guys over there, you guys.
We're not done yet. We got two more readings of this stuff.
Sorry, but I had to say something because I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the information and the data, the way that it's been presented.
Can we move to the resolution?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Item P, resolution of the City of West Miami, Florida, adopting the 2024-2025 preliminary budget.
Motion.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Suarez, how do you vote?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes?
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Milian Orbis?
Yes.
Mayor Diaz-Padrón?
Yes.
5-0, item passes.
Thank you. Next item.
Item Q, resolution of the City of West Miami, Florida, adopting the preliminary water enterprise fund budget for the year 2024-2025 in the sum of $1,909,456.
We have a motion.
Second. Motion.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Call the roll.
Commissioner Suarez?
Yes.
Commissioner Chavez?
Yes.
Commissioner Blanes? Vice Mayor Milian Orbis?
Yes.
Mayor Diaz-Padrón?
Yes.
5-0, item passes.
Thank you. Is there any consent agenda items to be taken out, pulled? Can we get a motion on the consent agenda?
Motion.
We have a motion?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The consent agenda has been passed. Go to the order. Anyone for go to the order?
Yes, I
Go
do
ahead.
have something. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I do want to bring this up. So about a month ago, I was at my house in my backyard, and the neighbor to the west, I guess he contracted a company, True Green, to come in and use a vapor type of producing machinery to basically, not spray, but basically, you know, fog, yeah, basically. And I don't see how that can really work because you're outdoors. But supposedly, you know, he was concerned about the mosquitoes. And, you know, so I heard this loud machine, and I thought it was the lawn. You know, they were doing the lawn. But I was outside doing some work, and all of a sudden, I see this vapor cloud come and engulf me, and I breathe this stuff. And basically, you know, I got sick. I got sick. I was dizzy. My eyes were irritated. My throat was irritated. You know, I thought it was some type of organophosphate poisoning, which is really bad. So, you know, I called the neighbor. I asked him what the company was. So I called and I inquired, you know, what it was that they use. And supposedly it's dimethylsam. And according to the Food and Agriculture Organization, is assessed to be moderately hazardous to humans. Okay, the World Health Organization says that it's a class 3, and it is harmful if swallowed. It says it found it not to be skin or eye irritant, which I will argue that. But anyways. So I want to bring this up because, you know, I'm an adult, and, you know, I was harmed by this. You know, I showered and drank a lot of water, and, you know.
Can we? I'm going to stop you there because I know where you're going with this. Can we do two things? One, can we see if cities are forcing companies like this to register? Number one, and the reason I ask that is because, assuming that it's deemed generally, you know, it's generally not bad unless it's direct contact with humans. We can regulate more if we know that anyone at the register here. We can regulate more to make sure that no one is outside the perimeter while they're doing this. Two, whether it's regulated anywhere, if it is harmful, whether it's regulated anywhere in terms of being allowed or not. I don't know how many residents use services like that.
I found out, and it's allowed. And the reason why it's allowed in the residential areas because it's allowed in the agriculture
I remember,
areas.
if I'm not mistaken,
Like-
I remember there being a resident, and everyone's got different priorities, but there being a resident that had some issue with butterflies because of this or something like that. Like there's all sorts of different factors. I just want to make sure, like you said, that there's not a health factor.
They put it to this way: in Europe, it's banned. They don't use it in Europe because it kills the bees. You know, so it's not allowed to be used. You know, the point being is that in the agricultural areas, you know, you have 10 acres, and you know, you have an issue with mosquitoes. You can vaporize or you know, fog your 10 acres, and that's gonna make a dent on the mosquitoes.
Yeah,
But here, in a
I'm not
commercial-
sure, again, I'm not sure how you would limit that to your property.
Well, here's the thing. The thing about it is that, you know, this guy was out there at 10:30 in the morning. Okay, so I don't know if you recall or ever seen the county spraying for mosquitoes. They
Yep.
usually do it at 3 o'clock in the morning. You get woken up by a pickup truck with this big machinery in the back, and it's actually fogging. It's using that same chemical, but they do it at 3 o'clock in the
Well,
in the morning.
that's why I'm saying if these companies are required to register in cities, because there's certain regulations that you can put in place that would eliminate the concern, right? Because like you said, if you weren't out there, which is a typical time you were out there in the day, you wouldn't have noticed, it wouldn't have impacted you, right? So maybe there is some sort of structure that we can do to enhance. I mean, you don't want an elderly resident breathing this stuff in, right? Because they're fogging them basically. So I think it's or a child or even anybody really, but especially vulnerable populations. So if we can just get that research done and bring it back at some point.
And the bottom line is that it will not do a damn thing. It will not do, because my mosquitoes, that are growing in my yard will fly into his, and vice versa. I mean, and of course, True Green will take his money.
Right.
They'll take his money and they'll say, "Oh yeah, we're going to get rid of your mosquitoes."
Yeah, I can't speak to I can't speak to their product, but I do hear your concern on health.
Well, like I say, we there's children outside playing in the yard, and here comes True Green at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and starts doing that. You got children out there playing. We can't have that.
Yep. So let's take a look at that.
And believe me, it made me sick.
Yeah. No, let's take a look at that. That's important to look at. Anyone else for go to the order?
I almost called 911, but I said no, I can't.
But you're a
do that,
firefighter.
man.
You're
I'd rather
yourself.
die before
You're calling
I call
yourself.
911.
Mayor, this is officially our
I'll
longest
never
meeting.
hear the end of it if I live.
Oh, I don't like that. So can we get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Meeting adjourned. They said it's the longest meeting. I don't like that.